Well, hello, Krystal. How are you doing on this fine Sunday afternoon?
I am great. I'm so excited to be here.
I am as well. I have been trying to get you on the Take 5 interview platform for so long, but Mr. or Mrs. Corona came and interrupted that process.
I think it would be Mrs. or Mrs. 19, because that's her last name, right? We established that SP, that's her last name, 19. So it'll be Mrs. 19, and she's
That was a clever one.
a B.
That was a clever one. So, everyone, my name is Deandre Sanders.
Oh, and yo, it's your girl, Krystal Muse. I'm coming to you in full effect and always asking, did you miss me? Of course you have.
I have. I certainly have.
I have too.
Nonetheless, everyone, this is Raleigh's finest, Krystal the Muse, but she is all over the RDU area. If you don't mind, give us a little backstory of yourself before we go in more depth with this interview.
Okay, so I am Krystal. My stage name is Krystal the Muse with a D-A-M-U-S-E. I am originally from Brooklyn, New York, and I have been living in North Carolina the bulk of my life, so I consider myself a North Carolinian. It's official. I'm officially a North Carolinian. But I've been living in Raleigh since 2013.
All right.
So I'm still getting more and more acquainted with the native thing that is Raleigh, North Carolina. It's a whole different type of beast. So I am a personality. I do hosting. Planning and coordinating is my jam. And I'm a producer at SP Endeavors.
All right.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah.
That's quick and straight to the point. I like that synopsis.
See?
Most definitely.
I talk a lot though.
Well, look, you said it, not me.
It's the trip.
Well, everyone, I just want to say I happened to meet Krystal for the first time when a fellow friend of ours, Amani Horton, the Amani Loud,
Yes.
great poet, great spoken word artist, invited me to the one and only
City Soul Cafe, yes.
City Soul Cafe. I didn't really plan to perform, but you know,
Performers.
peer pressure and whatnot, Amani peer pressured me into performing. And this is when I met Krystal. She's a very eccentric, out there, vibrant, extrovert type of individual.
Indeed.
Really took me off guard. Didn't know she was going to be that type of way, but I enjoyed it. I liked it. I loved it, actually. She made me feel comfortable because, I am a music artist. I perform on stage a lot. It was very welcoming, and I started coming ever since. Krystal is a very inviting woman, so I would say this: if you haven't been there, City Soul Cafe.
Yes. Yes. Wednesdays are for poetry. Right now, we are in the midst of doing some revamping and some changing. You know, COVID took us out for a little while. We were doing our online thing. You know, online. Everything was online for so long. And so we had to really break up the monotony there. So we had to take like a mental break from being online and everything being engrossed online. And now, for a little while, we did once a month at Jonathan's. Unfortunately, our original home, or our home for the last, 5 years, I think it's been 4 or 5 years, Noir Bar and Lounge, they are not reopening. And so we are in search of a home. But in the meantime, we have been at Jonathan's once a month. COVID 2021 came in. We wanted to take a little hiatus just to make sure that things were safe, because the air is different now in 2021. No, I don't think so. I think the air is the same. I think the air is the same in 2021.
All these theories, you don't even know.
Listen, the air is the same in 2021. But we are really gassed, because by the end of this month, going into March, we will finally get to come back live. So please stay tuned for that.
You ain't gotta tell me twice.
Yes.
We'll let them know. Please stay tuned for that.
Wednesdays
I will be
are for poetry.
Wednesdays are for poetry.
Yes.
Nonetheless, when it comes to your poetry hosting side, what do you enjoy most about what you are providing the community and fellow artists with the City Soul Cafe?
So City Soul Cafe is a community in of itself, within a community. So, you know, you have artists, poets, lyricists, all that stuff, right? I feel like it's really one poetic melting pot, if you will. I think everything, you know, music, everything starts from words or an idea. And so I feel like poetry is the base of all artistry. Now, when it comes to City Soul, I've been blessed to be able to be a part of the team. And in terms of our growth and what we do, I think that offering a safe space for all. And it sounds very, very cliche because it sounds really cliche because that's what so many people say. So many open mics, so many arenas that you might go in, they always say like, hey, this is a safe space, be yourself, right? But not only do we say that thing, but we really mean that thing and we live that thing out. So no matter your skill set, no matter what your talent is, maybe you're just getting on the mic to scream, you know. I have not seen that before. That would be very interesting, nonetheless. But no matter what you're getting on the mic for, you're not being judged. Now, of course, you know, you have people that are starting out in that vein, whatever, you know, singing, poetry, whatever. And then you have those like Dasana Hanu, who is beastly at his vernacular. And so he just is that great. And sometimes seeing someone of that stature come and do their thing, it can be very, very intimidating, but it's not. And I find that to be so interesting in this arena that it's not that at all. People from all walks of life, white, black, Asian, no matter what your ethnicity or your background or your culture or your belief or your sexuality, it is really like, come as you are and we got you. You know, it's warm, it's inviting, and it's accepting of where you are regardless. So
I really like that. I really like that explanation. I commend you for that. And me going in there for the first time, I can see how newcomers or quote unquote rookies can come in there and be intimidated by the people that already have implemented themselves into the City Soul Cafe. But it's more like I've seen new people rock it as good as people that's been there for like 2 years. Or
because you just feel at home. Yeah. You end up feeling at home. I've heard that a lot from people. Like, oh my goodness, like I was compelled. Like people that didn't plan necessarily to perform might say, is there any room on the list? Is there any more room on the list? And I love that because what that tells me is that you came here to just enjoy, but the energy that you felt is compelling you to share. Wednesdays are for poetry. Anyway, so yeah, and it's compelling you to share, and that's what you want, especially in an arena like that where you have people that really might suck. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. Like sometimes people suck, you know, and it's like, whew. Yeah. Woo, that was bad. Yeah. But we're not really thinking that deeply about it. But when you go to like, I've noticed, you know, the culture, you know, in the Triangle area is that people expect you to be like the group that you came into. Like, I'm like right, yeah, they expect you. It's almost like when if I go to an open mic, now I can hold a note. You know, I'm a good background choir member. Okay? So that, and you need people like me. You know, I ground the choir. You know, you need people like, you know what I'm saying? I'm solid. I don't know about all the harmonizers, but I'm solid. I'm solid because you need a bass. You know, I mean, it's realistic, you know, but you need solid people. I kind of lost my train of thought. Hold on, I'm sorry. Because I segued so hard into that. And then you made me laugh. So my point there was what? City Soul Cafe, feeling welcome, being invited. Okay, so regardless of the skill set, it can be very intimidating to go into an open mic or a space that you've never been in, and then everybody can freaking sing. I used to go to this open mic. Shout out to Unscripted. Used to pop off every Sunday. Durham, North Carolina. Durham. Yes, man. At Unscripted, daddy yada. So DL Zine, aka Dottie, she would host this open mic, and when I tell you, like, everybody could sing.
Yo, hey.
Do you hear me? Everybody could sing.
And you got a backing band there too that'll pick up the song. You can have
it was not a game.
Turn it off, and it take them 1 minute to get it.
Yes, it was like, what you want? Let's go. Come on. Listen, and so everybody could sing, and it's really intimidating. Let's just say, I'm not a singer. I'm a background, quiet, solid person, right? So I'm coming in here now. I could say, well, dang, nah, B, I ain't even gonna mess with it. I'm gonna just watch. But even in that, and I commend Dottie because she, they did make it so, and I'm always gonna be comfortable in any atmosphere I walk in. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. Hi. You invited me, even if you didn't. So I'm gonna go in and I'm like, I'm gonna do a little something. I'm gonna sing. I ain't gonna sound like y'all. I'm not gonna sound like you guys. But I think that's what separates the real deal open mics from, those the open mics that you see where people select who sings.
Yeah. It's not even that. It's more of open mics, whether those poetry or music showcases. Mm-hmm. Some don't even let you perform even when you signed your name or paid the stuff.
They select. That's what I was talking about. Selection.
That's like false, in my opinion, it's like false advertisement. And then they can say at the end of the day, well, we didn't promise you a slot, but you took my money. So I ain't putting nothing out there.
That was too enjoyable to get in it,
I ain't putting nothing out there, but
you gotta pay to get in it, B.
I do commend D for unscripted.
That was good. It was good.
I remember when I performed there, because I remember you or Imani posted on your page. I said, I'm gonna check it out. Exposure for my artistry, and I remember Imani told me it's more music than it is poetry. So I said, okay, I'll go do some more music. I remember I was about to start singing, and then I showed the dude my song. He was like, I thought he wanted like the hard job. He was just like, let me listen to it. I was like,
just real fast.
Yeah, I was like, they just took it off me. Just started going on. I was like,
is this it right here?
Yeah.
Let's go.
I never performed to a backing band before, so I was like, I felt legit.
Good. Listen, I'm an artist, mother.
But it was dope. It was dope.
Yes, always dope. And so, the one thing I pride myself on is that I don't really have any respect of person. Like that's legitimately. If anybody, for those that really know me, like I don't select to treat people a certain kind of way. I'm the same with every single person. That also can be to my detriment sometimes too, because I am very open. I am very honest. I'm very forthright, and I'm very welcoming and inviting. And because of the type of energy I have, people, they're like, I'm off to a flame, and they come into my aura, they come into my energy, and sometimes they get stuck. You know what I mean? Hey, you should leave. Gonna go. You know what I'm saying? So, people get stuck, but I appreciate that that I can have that energy in that type of environment and everything that I do, especially, being partners with SP, shout out to SP Endeavors, being partners with SP, because we really have to be adaptable. We have to be chameleons. We have to be able to change up and stay the same. And people have to be receptive to what we're talking about. We have to be willing to have those tough conversations with people. We have to be willing to be initiators in certain situations. And we got to also be willing to put ourselves out there and for people to kind of smack us down a little bit. And that's been really, really our journey over the last, going into our third year, really kind of doing this. Obviously, COVID knocked Mrs. 19. She really knocked us all out of whack. But I really feel like, and I think SP can really attest to it, that was really kind of a blessing for us, for real. That time, that space was really a time that we utilized to our advantage to stack bread, to master our craft, to hone in on our skill set, to reach out, to ask some questions, to build bridges, because we are not trying to be in this by ourselves. Very much like we were talking earlier about, the community of it all. Like our ultimate vision is to create a platform, a hub for all types of artists. You know, whether you're a singer, a writer, a painter, whatever. Our shows, our productions that we put on incorporate all levels of artists. We have a literal art gallery before our show. Once you come into our show, we then have a pop-up shop, a high-end pop-up shop. Like, and I'm not talking about, you know, run-of-the-mill, you know, business owners. You know, I'm talking about people that have established themselves, that people that are trying to sow into a community, a vision, an idea that's bigger than themselves. Our artists that come in are from far and wide. We have a lot of local artists, and we really love working with our local artists because there's so much talent in the Triangle. There's so much talent in, you know, North Carolina, period. But there's so much talent right here in the RDU area. And I don't feel like we do enough bigging each other up. Yeah, we don't lift each other up like we're supposed to. I'm going to take this model into everything that I do. It takes a village. It takes a village. It takes a village. If you really think about that, it applies in every situation. It applies in any venture, any vision. It takes a village. Most people, they have to start out by themselves because they're the ones with the vision, right? Mm-hmm. You start off by yourself, and then even one person, that's how your village starts.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
People can skyrocket in the scene. I think one of my friends told me within the community, a lot of us have a mindset that if one person attempts to branch out, it's like everyone says the audacity of you to try to do that. When no, if we see more people doing it, it doesn't just look like a unique thing.
Right.
It can be like a trend because for my generation per se, we follow what we see. We follow what we hear. That can be good and it can also be a detriment. But I feel like what you're trying to do, which is giving all artists, all creatives an opportunity, because I notice as well there's a lot of talent around here, from actors to music artists to dancers to painters to podcasters, need a platform that allows people to showcase their talents.
And
it shouldn't just be one or two showcases. Then that means everybody's not going to be able to perform. Everybody's not going to be able to do nothing because they're only going to let that thing run on but for so many hours. There should be more than just two platforms, because the only platforms or showcases I came across that I've known over the last 2 years, City Soul Cafe, Unscripted, Carolina Waves Music. That's the main ones that I've come across personally. There may be others, but they probably aren't really out there as much as Trifecta. Not trying to take down anybody else.
Right, of course.
That's just the ones I've noticed. Now, I commend you for what you are doing. I wouldn't even say trying to do, what you are currently doing for creatives, especially in the RDU area, because I'm trying to show people, especially with actors with my stuff, you don't just have to go to Charlotte to get recognized. Everybody doesn't have money to keep taking the train or to take the bus over
I was
there.
just saying that we were losing our talent that's right here in RDU to Atlanta, Charlotte, New York, LA. Like, there are major things happening right here in Raleigh. There are major things, major movie castings, major opportunities to be in music. Like, there is a plethora of things people could be doing right here, and you don't have to go to Atlanta to do it. You don't have to live in Atlanta to do that. You don't have to live in Charlotte or travel back and forth to Charlotte. Like, I really feel people have a false sense of what's here. They make it seem like there's nothing here and that there's no opportunity, but I digress. Go ahead.
Oh, it's totally fine. I appreciate you, topping that last one off with that. So, we're going to move into the next segment, all right?
Okay.
Nonetheless, right now, I want to ask you about the very rising and famous, especially in the city, Inkspired.
Yay! So Inkspired is a poetry show. Foundationally, it's a poetry show, but it's really more of what I would consider like a variety show because of all of the different. It's basically a melting pot of artistry. That's a better way. A melting pot of artistry. So we have a art gallery before the show, so that selected artists can showcase their talent, sell their work. Then we have a live band that usually is with us. Shout out to Uptown Band. We're really excited. June 5th is coming very, very soon. So we're excited to have them as our usual, house band, if you will. After that, the core of it is our performers. Now, of course, we have vendors because our goal, like I told you before, is that collaboration, that community platform and hub for artists in general. So that doesn't start and stop at just, writers and painters and poets. Entrepreneurs are also artists as well. So we want to make sure that we showcase every aspect of artistry possible at Inkspired. But on this stage, the twist is that we commission poets and actresses to perform SP, which is Silent Poet, which is the actual owner and founder of SP Endeavors, his writing. So he is not a performer. He, hence the Silent Poet, SP. And he's not a performer. And so what he does is the process is so really, it really is an interesting process because most people, they write for themselves. But he's literally writing for someone else. And how that process usually works sometimes is that he has to first be able to hear your voice in his head before he can write for you. So he usually goes to like open mics and to live events so that he can first hear. So the first thing he does is fall in love with the voice or gravitate to that voice that's going to explain, or maybe he has a certain idea. Sometimes it could be that he has an idea that he wants to express, but he has to find the voice to be able to express that. So it just kind of depends, but it's a wonderful, wonderful twist, a wonderful, wonderful show. It's a semi-formal event. Wow. When I tell you quality, we spare no expense on quality and the experience of it all. So usually we have valet available, coat check. Usually we're at a prestigious or high-end event space. Our original space was Train. Shout out to Train because they were was the very first company to believe in us. Like the very first company to believe in the vision and idea of Inkspired after the first one. So we had the first one there and they were open to sponsoring us and doing sponsorship. And we had a year-long relationship with them. Our first 3 shows were there, right? Our first 3 shows were right there at Train. And so we were honored to be in that space. And then we migrated over to the Raleigh Convention Center, which is where we're going to be having it finally June 5th, okay? And it's free. We haven't even done our official announcement. It's free. It's free. It's free. It's free. It's free. So we know that COVID really rocked a lot. Miss 19, that is.
Knocked the lights out.
Right? Well, he kind of knocked our lights out, because we were sitting down. And we wanted to come back stronger, but we wanted to come back more focused on not just artists that may needed an outlet or a gig that needs to be booked, but also the people, our Patreons, people that have supported us over the last year and a half. Well, it's really been longer, but we don't count last year, do we? Do we count 2020? Was 20 a year? 2020?
I damn near be forgetting it.
Let's all forget it.
I try to forget it.
In love and memory of. Okay? So, but there's been such a long road to us getting to a place where we think it's actually going to happen. And this time it is happening, but we wanted to make sure that no one was burdened by the show. But we know there are a lot of people that would like to be there. And for those that aren't financially able to just spend that money, we're hoping that by offering the experience, the show itself for free, that will really lend to this new mindset of community and village and camaraderie and collaboration. So we're excited for that. And that's happening again on June 5th. The only thing that we require, of course, there has to be some level of investment, or we would have 500 people, 700 people saying that they're going to show up, and then 2 people come. So you will have to purchase your tickets up front. But as long as you show up, you get a refund. So we're doing it straight like that.
Not many go about it that way. So I suggest you go to Inkspired, where you can see the all-talented and beautiful
Krystal DaMuse.
Krystal DaMuse.
But it's not about me that night. Not about me. I'm always really excited to see the performers. Inkspired, and just go and giving you some history, some context. I've done a lot of things. I've been blessed to be in Fortune 500 companies, in executive offices, really in that operations part of the machine in a lot of these companies, and I have never had wings in those companies. I've always been very boxed in, hey, this is what I want you to stick to. Don't go past go, do not collect $200, be right here. And that has been true for the bulk of my professional career. And in 2018, when I met SP, he really, it's so crazy because I had never heard his poetry. I never, he doesn't perform. So there's no way, it wasn't like he came to City Soul and he performed and I was like, oh, that's dope. It wasn't that. He literally just approached me. We had a conversation and there was something sincere about his idea. It was something authentic about his presence and the energy he was giving me. And I said, this is a person that I can pour into. This is an idea that I can pour into. Now, little did I know that I would kind of take over a little bit, I guess, in a way, and very much did that. Very much did that. But there were things that I knew from a business and operation standpoint that was exactly what he needed. Budgeting and licensure and contracts and all of that administrative, clerical, those things was not customer service. Yeah. That was not SP's strong suit. So I took the reins on that and he was very comfortable allowing me to do that. So there was this automatic, natural trust level that just existed between he and I. And since then, I have been, and I said this in a recent post that I did on social media, I've been more free and more creative and successful in this time with SP endeavors than I have been in anything else in my entire life. I've been accomplished. I've done great things. I've been blessed, to be in some great places. However, I have felt my most authentic self doing what I do for SP endeavors, and hosting is like the cherry on top for me.
Oh man, yeah. Well, I know how to say this. Shout out to SP, the writer. Yes. Wherever you are, no matter the space you're in, just know, Take 5 interviews. It's waiting for you.
He's calling you out, dude. He's calling you out.
Well, definitely be sure to come to upcoming Inkspired show, June 5th, correct?
Yes, June 5th. We haven't dropped tickets just yet. As you know, we're still trying to get a feel for what COVID restrictions are going to be and blah, 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 blah. As of right now, everything is still a go for June 5th. We will be dropping official ticket announcements and dates and all that stuff in the upcoming weeks. I think next week we'll be doing our first videos drop, I believe. And then the week after that. So again, in the next 2 weeks, just stay locked and loaded for the information that is to come, because there's a lot of surprises, a lot of collaborations, a lot of great things on the horizon. And so you don't want to miss it.
Now, Krystal, so let's get into this last part of this interview. I want to get to know you better. Well, I already know you. Your viewers and your fans want to know you better. So talk to me about your come up, your backstory.
Ooh, have I come all the way up yet? I think I'm still on a journey, but so my backstory is long and drawn out, but I'm gonna give you some highlights. So I told you before, I was born in Brooklyn, came to North Carolina when I was a young girl. Been in North Carolina the bulk of my life now. Honestly, I've being, I guess, the type of person I am, an open, caring, genuine person. Those type of people, those type of people, they have the hardest stories. They have, and so I definitely will say that I have some trauma and some drama in my life that has made me more aware of self. Up until recently, it's really, I've done, you don't know how much you haven't arrived until you get smacked down and you're humbled. And so I had a trip. I made this trip to New York, like really, really like out of the blue, like very out of the blue. One of my little cousins who I grew up with, she was turning 30. And so I got a text message like literally days before. And my sister and my little, another one of my little cousins that are here in North Carolina was like, yo, are we going or not? We pulling up or not?
Tell me up.
And you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, I cannot go to New York right now. Like, yo, I got too much going on. There's too much going on. There's too much going on. COVID is here.
COVID is here.
COVID is here.
Oh, this is recent.
This is recent. This is this year. This is January. This is December. Like the last 2 weeks of December. Okay? So, all right. So, here's some stuff you don't know, okay? So here's some intimacy for you. I had never really thought I was pretty. It was not until I was deep in my 20s when I realized that I was an attractive person. Right? I was very jealous of my older sister, the one right above me, who I just thought was gorgeous, right?
I know the feeling.
My sister, and then she was, because growing up in the 99 and the 2000s, the brown wasn't popping until after the 99s and the 2000s. You know what I'm saying? I ain't after. So
I love all colors.
I
love all pigments on the chocolate.
# we're all melanated. I didn't see self. I had worth issues, self-esteem issues, like all types of issues. But because I knew, because my energy was so pure and because I'm such an optimist, that's not what I led with. So nobody knows that I feel these things for myself because that's never the topic of conversation. Very hard for me to take compliments. I was talking to you about that before because I never really felt like I was attractive or pretty or worth the compliment, right? Fast forward to recently. We're like, okay, fine, let's do it. We're going. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going. So we make all these arrangements because, again, it's a very, very last minute. My sister has 4 children. I have 3 children. And I have 3 children. My oldest daughter is grown and married and has a child of her own. But my 2 other children are in a home with me. So we don't never get to just pick up and go. We have to make like whole arrangements, especially because it was going to be like a weekend. So anyway, we make the arrangements, we go. Now, I've had this perspective that never left me as a child because it was never dealt with. I haven't gone to therapy or anything like that. And so right now, today, in that moment, I'm talking to my aunt. Now, I've been there's resentment, or there was resentment for my family because, you know, as a child, you see things in a certain way that may not even necessarily be true, but it's just your perspective, it's just your experience. And as a child, so when you grow up, if you don't have an opportunity or a space to talk or deal with that, then it becomes resentment, right? So I had all of that in me for so many of the people that were connected to my childhood, because I felt like there were so many people that could have protected and blocked and stopped and encouraged and lifted up and all this stuff, and I didn't get that necessarily, and it made me feel some kind of way, and it made me fester and grow resentment. And so I was very distant from them, but not for real. You know, I was still jovial, I was still myself, but reaching out and so forth, I didn't do that. All right, so now we're in New York. Yeah. I'm speaking to my aunt, and she gave me some enlightenment that I did not have. She was able to put some of the things that I thought into perspective. And so here's what I learned, right? So I learned that I don't have to do anything to earn someone's respect or regard. I'm a human, I'm alive, and that is the basic of what everybody should get. And it's really amazing that I have taught myself to believe that I have to earn everything from everyone. Everyone. No matter who you are, it is my job to earn your whatever, and then then the relationship is then beneficial for me. Yeah. But in the beginning, the relationships are very, very seldom beneficial to me in all the ways that they should be, because I don't feel worthy of it, because I feel like I have to do something or give something to be respected or considered. Now, that is not true, ladies and gentlemen. Because you are alive, because you are a living, breathing thing, you are worthy of the basic respect and regard because you are alive. You do not have to do anything for that. Okay? Now, I didn't know that. Literally up until January 1st of this year. Okay?
2021?
Of this current year, of 2021. Okay? I learned that because there were boundaries that I would let people cross all the time. You know, there are things that I would let people do to me all the time. And I would just be like, okay, well, let me just do one more thing. Because if I do this thing, then I prove that I'm this and worthy enough, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff, right? And this doesn't have anything to do with, you know, the people that I've encountered where I was grown. Unfortunately, this shit, I'm sorry, can I say shit?
You can say as you please.
So,
this is for adults.
This segment of the show is for the adults. But, you know, you don't realize how this stuff is embedded and lives in you until you're enlightened, until you can see. Because there were many years that people, my sisters, my siblings in particular, they would be like, Chris, like, yo, you are like the moon and the stars and the earth and the air and everything revolves around you. Like, I can't even believe you can't see it. And I'm like, what? You know, I ain't shit. You know what I mean? Like, literally. And I would say that. I would literally, up until like a couple years ago, I would literally say it out my mouth. Like, I ain't shit anyway. Like, literally. And it's so crazy. Like, I'm talking to you guys about this because this is, it's so hard to really be your most truest, authentic self and to cultivate healthy relationships if you don't have a grasp on self, if you don't have that awareness. So either way, went to that trip, got some enlightenment there, and then just to like, you know, slam it all home and all of this is happening in 2021. Now, mind you, it's February 2nd, 3rd, and not even that. It's not even that yet, right? Tomorrow's the 1st.
Tomorrow's the 31st, ain't it?
No, today's the 31st right now, right? Yeah, tomorrow's the 1st.
I'm sorry.
Hashtag, we don't know. Look, hashtag COVID-19. We haven't been keeping up. Everybody's been in the house. But either way, in 2021, in these last couple of weeks of 2021, I've gathered that enlightenment. I also I don't know if you know anything about human design, and if you ever heard of that. Oprah, I understand like Oprah used this theology to build her team, where there are certain types of individuals that you need to place around you, and based on their human design, they will be a certain thing to you. So either way, just to add a little something else to it, I would say these things about myself, that I am here to build for other people. I used to say that all the time. And not used to, but I say that all the time about myself. Like, yo, I'm not sure, but I would use such a negative connotation to it, because I would also say, hey, I wasn't here to be happy and succeed. I was here to be a servant and to sacrifice and to build other people up. And what's so crazy is that it was true. My human design, based on, what they say my human design is, I am a pure generator. And that is my role. My role is to take other people's ideas, perfect them, and build them. Literally is what it said. And my life's work is to resolve issues. And me being a mediator all the time, always looking for the balance. How can we meet? How can we get it together? That is very me. So I say all of those things to say that my rise to where I am, as you know, like I am talking about recent history, was really about finding out more about myself and my personal boundaries. Like I had always had deal breakers and things that will make me go away from a person, but those things will change and vary based off of how deeply I wanted to keep that person in my life. So, but now that's not the situation anymore. There has to be balance in relationship in order for me to be okay, and it's not just about other people. So in all of that, and it took 30 some odd years. We won't get into all that. But yeah, it took 30 some odd years to get to a place where I'm not afraid to say what I need or what I want, and being okay with other people not accepting that and potentially walking away.
I understand completely. You gotta be yourself, and if they don't accept you, and they weren't meant to be there in your vision or your life.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing, it's one thing to change and to evolve as a person and grow and learn, but it's another thing to shift who you are, how you're made, how you're built to accommodate someone else, or to feel worth or worthy of what someone else is willing or unwilling or trying to give you.
You have your own life.
Yeah. You have your own compass, but we live in the world. We don't live in a world alone. Everything that I want, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, is tied to someone else.
Tied to someone else.
So yeah. So I always have to be mindful of that too. That in order for me to ultimately get what I want, I have to be willing to meet people where they are too. So it hasn't been just about knowing myself, but it is being more aware of where other people are and accepting of that.
I respect that. That is some prize jewels you just dropped upon us. Go get her book.
I am writing one. No, I'm not. I'm really not. I've been talking about writing a book for a long time though, which is really crazy. I've always talked about writing a book, but I feel like there are other avenues in which I want to touch people.
Yeah.
And my book would be huge. You know what I'm saying? I guess technically I can get to more people by having a book. That would be a wonderful thing to add under my belt, an author. But right now I want to focus on touching people. And I want to focus on building and cultivating those relationships so that other aspects of my life and my dream and my vision and visions that I have woven into things with SP Endeavors and other things that I'm involved in, those things have the ability to grow.
Now, speaking of your visions that you want woven into our community and into society. This leads me to my next question. What led you into your career field, and what have you enjoyed about your career field so far in the many avenues and roads and paths that you have taken, or that you currently have?
Oh my God. So I feed off of energy. I'm a very vibey. I don't know the real word, but no, I just like energy is how I communicate and how I interact with people, right? Yeah. So it's really about the connection to the people. Like, the best part of what I do is seeing it all come together and seeing the reactions of other people of how it came together. The cherry, like I said, on top is always me hosting, because it's not scripted at all. It's literally just energy, an exchange of energy of me and the audience, and I'm like,
that's what it's all
did you
about.
miss me? I know you did. And it's. I know it sounds so crazy, but I really be feeling like that. Like, I know you miss me. And I miss you. I miss you too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I missed you.
I know.
Of course you have. But when I was growing up, I got my name, and this is a story that I've told 1,000 times before, but I got my name from my mother. My mother used to call me the Pied Piper. And not in that weird R. Kelly kind of way, but, in the sense that from a positive standpoint, people follow me and people are drawn to me and they will kind of mimic and do what I do. And so that's where my name originated. And it is very true. Like, people are naturally just kind of drawn to me. What people don't know is that it takes so much energy to be a person like myself. I'm a very empathic person. I'm a very intuitive person. And I've been blessed with like a gift of like foreshadowing and foreseeing certain things or whatever, what have you. And sometimes it comes way more deliberate than other times, where I can see things very, clearly, and there's no like weird, this might mean, the dot right there means your space between time and space. I don't know. But, it just really be things that are really clear. And what people don't realize is that, that exchange of energy is so powerful. It's so powerful and it's so lasting. And for me, it's the best part of what I'm a part of, outside of watching it all come together and all that. But like throughout our process, like SP endeavors, doing Inkspired, like I love how we're real deal, like intimate with each other. I get to see people's processes, like how they memorize poetry and how they convey, and people's cadences and SP's writing, and then how you embody that, how you deliver it by yourself, and the rehearses, and okay, try to do it this way. See how it sounds when you do, like that whole process, the entire process for me is beautiful because it really is an exchange. And I feel like, people's processes to their most vulnerable and creative state, I think that's a sacred thing for a lot of people. And they don't always want others invited into that space. And so I'm always really honored that I'm able to, help direct during rehearsals. SP values my opinion enough to be like, okay, hey, listen, I want you here with me, and, do what you do, and I, like I said from before, I've been my most empowered under the SP Endeavors umbrella, and this journey is just beginning. I'm really excited.
Well, hopefully you can put that SB Never umbrella over me.
Not the SB. The rain is coming, yes. Because this season there's a lot of shifts and changes that's going to take place in 2021. Like I can really feel that energy just coming into 2021, like especially the level of understanding of self that I've personally had over this short period of time. It's really been, it's really helped me to be more proud of myself, I guess. Yeah. More proud of myself and more comfortable with where I'm at right now.
Self-love has been accumulating.
Yeah. Not that selfish kind, that limits your ability to give and do for others and be there, but the kind that puts you in a position to actually do more for others. Because if you're doing it right, if you're really doing it right, that self-care and self-love will make you pour out more. You don't keep things like the idea that self-love and the self-care thing means that, you look out for self first and foremost and one and only. That's the misconception. Like, if you are really, truly whole and happy, you want to share that with other people, period. I don't care who you are. You want to scream it from the mountaintops. You will sow more because you're fulfilled. You're whole. You're not looking for people to give you something to feel that way. You're already in that place and in that space, so you're more willing to give more of yourself because you have more to give. That's my philosophy.
Now that was some true wisdom right there. I can't even lie to you about that one. You listen to her, please. Well, Krystal, it has been very exciting having you on the show for the first time. Now I do ask you, is Take 5 interviews allowed to come to Inkspired?
Absolutely. So, yes. So know this, and not just for you, but we really have a desire to open up the scope so that there are people from all walks of life, all corners of the world, that have a direct access to Inkspired. So yes, for those that are in media, we are limited in how many media outlets can be a part. We will be listing media openings at the same time that we give vendor information and all of that good stuff. But yes, we would be very, very excited to have Take 5 in the building. Come on.
You heard what she said.
And I said what the hell I said.
Now, do you happen to have any last few words or remarks for your fans and your viewers, Krystal, before we head out of here?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I just want the takeaway from, I guess, this conversation is find out about yourself. Get to know you a little bit better so that you can be the best you for other people. If your desire is to sow, if your desire is to give, if your desire is to share, the best way for you to do that is to make sure that you're whole first and that you are in a place, in a space to be able to enjoy mutual beneficial relationships. You are worth it, you are dope, and you are worthy just because you're here.
Well, thank you. It was a pleasure having you on our platform, Krystal.
Thank you so much. Am I doing my outro or no?
Oh, not at all. It's fine because we're going to keep this. This is Deandre Sanders with Take 5 Interviews. Once again, this is my lovely featured guest, Krystal DaMuse.
And you know what to do in the meantime, right? Stay locked, stay loaded, and stay ready so you have to give it. It's your girl, Krystal DaMuse. And we out.
Well, Mrs. Muse, the Muse, I might add.
Just miss, definitely single, not married.
All right.
What the girl say? Hashtag, I need a boyfriend. What was that? What's her name? B? What's her name?
I'm sure.
B Samar.
I'm sure she is very sought after.
No. I can barely, it's very uncomfortable. I don't know what to do half the time with compliments. I mean, in recent history, I've been better. And I'll just say thank you.
You just get them so much.
I'll just be like, thank you. I really be like, thank you. And then I'm like,
They gonna think you ain't care about that compliment.
Are we moving on? Because I don't know what to do next. Like, it's very difficult for me to just say thank you and live in the comment. Because to me, I'm like,
a dude gonna think you ain't really care for that compliment. They're gonna be
and it's terrible because I'm always like, no, stop. Okay, yeah, that's enough. Yeah. You know, like, you know, and it's terrible that I can't accept a compliment, but I don't know, like, listen, it used to be commercials. Remember those commercials? I don't know. You're
no, I still
saw
it.
Not you.
No, I saw Still Rock. That was on PBS and stuff like that.
That was the revamp version.
Yeah. Well, look, back in the now in the 2000s.
That was the new Power Rangers.
And they added pink or some shit. No, I'm just playing. We didn't have a Black Power Ranger when I was growing up.
There was a Black Power Ranger?
No, I'm talking about literally the Black Power Ranger. There was no Black Power Ranger.
Now, COVID may restrict a lot of things, but it shouldn't restrict your creativity, and it shouldn't restrict you from coming to Inkspired.
Wear your mask or whatever.
Okay, let's take 5. We gonna break the stigma. Do it for the culture. They think it's an enigma. Break the connotation. Arts and entertainment. Show the variation from acting to a painting. Let's go into the depths of your craft. Let's go behind the scenes. What's your inspiration? The lines that's in between. I'ma throw a question. You gon' give an answer. We gon' get to laughing. Trust me, it's a pleasure. Change the generation. Become an inspiration. Where did you begin? Do you want to be famous? You rise in your career. Your destiny is near. Go ahead and take 5. A blessing will appear. Take 5, 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 take 5.